Okay, so welcome to our webinar. August marks Women's Month in South Africa, and as we focus on the progress women have made towards empowerment, or their empowerment and emancipation, excuse me, getting over that word, we should also highlight the traits that many women sorry, let me just say this again. We should also highlight the traits that make women such savvy investors, hence the title of the presentation today, Why Women Make Savvy Investors. So despite the stereotypical belief that women are not good with money, they possess quite a few qualities, excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat here, that will give them an edge in the market, and we'll be touching on that in the presentation. But just to whet your appetite, did you know that because women often approach risk differently, are long-term planners, and are more likely to ask for financial help, they are less likely to see large swings in their portfolio values, meaning a steadier growth over time. So that is the context of this presentation today. So here is the agenda as such. Whoops, let me get out of the way. There's the agenda. Those of you that don't know me, by the way, my name is Sean van den Berg. I'm an investment specialist here at PSG Wealth. So please join me as we unpack the power of women as investors. So, sorry, I'm sitting in a room that's got an aircon on and it's pretty cold in here. I think that's why it's getting to my throat. Okay, so here's the checklist for financial planning, retirement, and being financially empowered. But first of all, just to highlight for you, what does a checklist actually mean? The dictionary defines a checklist as a list of items required, or things to be done, or points to be considered, or used as a reminder. So that's what I want to do here. So I presume, obviously, I've got a whole range of different ages on this group. There's also on this webinar. This webinar is also obviously aimed at more the younger ladies to get started as such. But using that word starting your journey to save for retirement is the first and most important step to building an investment portfolio. And obviously we'll be touching on it a bit later. Unfortunately, many South Africans, and we know this is true, are not saving enough for retirement. And it is often said that currently only 6% of South Africans can retire comfortably. Prioritizing your retirement planning is one of the most important life decisions you'll ever make. And I can't remember who someone said it just in the comments, the most important way of empowering yourselves is having a little bit of money. Okay, sorry, I forgot your name. So women face specific challenges in preparing for retirement that men do not really have. Women have to have longer life expectancies. Those who reach 65 are expected to live 2.3 years longer on average than men who reach the same age. Okay, meaning they will have to be retired longer, and as such will result in needing more money to see them through. So ladies, are you prepared for a 20-year retirement? Or how about a 30 or a 40-year retirement? Don't laugh, it could happen. Do you know that it's projected that about a 33% or a third of today's 65-year-olds will live past the age of 90? That 14% of people will live longer than 95 years of age? And that's obviously whether it's the technology is going on the medical field. But saying that, the biggest challenge with all this is finding the funding to make it all happen, to live longer or to enjoy a happy retirement. So while women need higher savings balances to face retirement, they have less, thanks to working less during their working years. And the ladies, I'm speaking to the converted here, but women get nearly a third less compensation than men in all those important salary paychecks. So they also spend less time in the workplace, obviously leading to gaps in employment, because they know they're ones that have to take care of the obviously childbirth and rearing of the kids, but also many women now obviously have to be caregivers to the aging parents. We call it the sandwich generation. So they face also higher medical costs. Women have higher chance than men of being impacted financially by chronic or terminal illness. Okay, so what is a woman to do? So here's some of those checklists I was talking about. The first one I want to highlight for you is we can call it a checklist of call it a personal financial plan and how to get your money in order as such. 8 steps, call it 8 steps. It's a nice framework, I believe. And this is again for the younger ladies just starting out, young students that might be on this webinar, but even those that might be a bit more mature. The question is, are you savvy enough? If you look at these 8 checkpoints. So first of all, obviously setting financial goals. Critical to creating a financial plan, obviously, is for you to see the bigger picture and obviously establish short and medium term or short and long term goals. This is a crucial step in mapping out your financial future. But also the whole idea is to have a strategy and a financial plan. It just makes it easier to make financial decisions and obviously to stay on track to reach your financial goals. So the planning experience should also provide peace of mind, okay, insight and clarity to you and your family. But it's also important to have a clear idea why you're saving. You know, you're saving hard-earned money. Why are you doing it? What is it for? Is it for emergency fund? Is it for down payment or deposit on a home? Is it for wealth creation? Is it for education fund for your children? Is it for your own retirement? So all these things are important. So we'll be touching it on a bit more in more detail a bit later. So leading from that is obviously to create a budget, and I have touched on it on previous webinars. Talk about a budget. I prefer the word a cash flow statement as such, but the whole idea is that you want to consider your monthly cash flow and savings or slash investing plan. You want to give yourself permission to decide where and how you spend your money, and that's the whole idea of the budget. And as I mentioned just now in previous webinars, I said important concept. You know, after I believe if taking 10% of your money, paying towards I give to the church, tithing or to giving as such, your first fruits. I also believe that a very important concept is to pay yourself first. So you know, put 10% into savings, 10% into investing. And that investment is your retirement fund, and that 10% savings would be, first of all, your emergency fund. I also believe that you worked hard for your money, so to allocate 10% of your money to having fun, you know, play. You know, that's the whole idea there. And then 10% to education. When I say education, this is more personal development or ongoing or continuing education for yourself. And then, as I say, the other 50% is what we call necessities. If you can structure your budget along those lines, I believe that it's working more. It's not so much a budget, it's more fitting your goals into your budget, fitting with the first point I made there. Obviously, going on to the third point there, build an emergency fund. And I have again also discussed this in previous webinars. All the planning in the world won't help you in life if life throws you a curveball and you're not prepared for it financially. That's where the emergency fund comes in handy. They always say you want to save at least 6 months of income or expenses. And obviously, this is where a bank account will come in handy. The whole idea, you want to be able to access funds very quickly. So liquidity and flexibility is very important. You know, you might put it into fixed deposit, you might have it in a money market account. But the main idea is that it's something that you save for emergencies. That's what's important here. And then step number 4 there, managing debt. We'll discuss it into more detail a bit later. But understanding and managing debt is a key part of creating a financial plan. Protect with insurance. A lot of people don't think about this. I've over the last few years realized it's important. So life can change in an instant, especially with what's happening right now with COVID. People with a good financial plan hope for the best, but plan for the unexpected. So life and disability insurance helps with that. Again, this is, and we'll touch on it a lot more in the presentation. Speak to your financial advisor, especially about that side. Plan for retirement, and this was maybe the gist of the presentation. Even if it's a long way off, start saving, keep saving, and stick to your goals. You know, the whole idea is if you're already saving for retirement, keep going. If you know that saving it will be a rewarding habit. You start as little as 500 Rand a month. So those of you that just started working and things like 500 Rand a month over a period of time, this is where the magic of compounding will kick in, and also the magic of what I call rand cost averaging also help towards growing your wealth faster. So it's never too late to, or never too early and never too late to start. Okay, so that's planning for retirement. And then go one step further than just retirement. You might have a pension or provident fund with your company. You want to go one step further. You want to max out. You're allowed up to 27.5% of your remuneration into that. It's a tax efficient vehicle. So if you want to add on to it, have a retirement annuity. And those of you that are self-employed, very important to have a retirement annuity in place. It's a way of getting some you know, your contributions, monthly contributions can be tax deductible. Okay, so that's use it. And then lastly, obviously, they create a estate plan. We don't think about it, and as I mentioned now with the whole COVID thing, I'm just realizing how many people are dying without a will. And that's a scary part. You know, the whole idea is to, I would suggest, worst case scenario, have a will. It's just a set of documents. It just makes it easier for your family to ensure your wishes. You know, again, speak to your financial advisor. You know, if you don't have a will and you don't have relatives, your deceased estate gets paid to the state. You know, worst case scenario, I'd rather have my money going to, if I don't have family or relatives, have my estate paid out to either my favorite charity or to my church. But it's something we need to consider. A lot of people don't do that. Okay, so let's move on. Women's checklist for retirement. And you'll notice here, ladies, a lot of questions. And this is my gist of this presentation. And we'll touch on it again just now about financial education. Ask questions. You know, women always put the needs of others ahead of their own. But when it comes to retirement savings, you have to be more focused on your own needs. Okay, you need to educate yourself. You know, it's in the best of times. Retirement isn't easy, and again, COVID has obviously unsettled many people even further. So, ladies, how much retirement savings will you need? They say that you will need at least 80% of your pre-retirement income to cover your cost of living in retirement. There's a rule of thumb as such: for every 1,000 Rand, for every 4,000 Rand in earnings or salary, you need 1 million Rand in the bank. So if you're earning 20,000, you need at least 5 million saved up. Okay, that's just a rough rule of thumb. Okay, so that gives you a ballpark figure to work towards. Again, speak to your financial advisor to help you along these lines. What's your source of retirement? So yes, we've got a retirement annuity, your provident pension fund. You might have a share portfolio. You might have estate, a real estate or property. There's a lot of other ways of retirement. So it's important to start building these things up and being aware of it. Okay, so I mentioned right in the beginning of the presentation, how long will you live? Just understand you might live longer than your spouse. What happens if your spouse dies first? Make sure that you're the beneficiary. Those documents are up to date. Make sure you know where the will is kept. Is the will up to date and things like that. How will the cost of living change in the future? You can understand that inflation will be a big issue going forward. We've seen this already becoming a bigger problem. The cost of living. Put it in your planning. How will you pay for your healthcare, your medical aid bill? That would be one of your biggest expenses. Again, you might have a separate fund and I've seen it with myself. You know, once you've exceeded your medical savings, you've got that self-payment gap. And then, you know, as you get older, that might be important to have additional investments for that kind of payment gap. Okay. How would you handle the unexpected? We already touched the emergency fund. Important to have that and build that up, at least 6 months income. What if you need assistance in your retirement? This we talk about. What happens if you need long-term care? What happens if you need assistance at home or special housing? All those kind of things you have to plan for. And in your golden years, you might want to start traveling. The utopia right now, everybody wish they can go travel, but something you have to plan for and pay for, obviously. How will you manage your retirement money? So this is again where you have a whole mix of all those different investments. You need to obviously convert your provident and pension funds into a living annuity. Do it a year before and start planning for that. And that living annuity, give you income. You need to choose between 2.5% and 17.5% of that capital. It's going to give you that income on a yearly basis or monthly basis. You need to plan for that. Okay. So let me just quickly get some interaction here. I'm going to ask you guys for a poll. Just help me with the poll here. Just a quick question. Okay, there we go. Okay, from a financial planning perspective, what do you guys think is the most important? Collecting responses. So 42% have voted. So most of you are saying that setting financial goals is the most important thing. And then we'll, yeah, it's a toss-up between setting financial goals and eliminating debt. Okay, awesome, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, well, the responses. Okay, so bottom line, most of you are saying that 38% of you are saying that, or majority are saying that setting financial goals is the most important, then managing your debt, and then planning for retirement. Okay, and the other two, creating a budget and building an emergency fund, is like 5% each. Okay, awesome, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate that interaction. Great. Cool. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Being financially empowered. And this I found is, remember I said right in the beginning, what makes a savvy woman, and this I believe is where we start seeing some of the differences. So young ladies, I believe that being financially educated means you know how to spend your money. Okay, in fact, you have a plan for what and where you spend. But being financially empowered means you have control, and that's a key word there, control over your money. So the reason why I'm saying that is, who cares more about your money than you do? Okay, that's why I'm saying that. So getting financially literate, I believe, is one of the important things. I see it with my daughter now. She's just started first year of varsity. She's very keen in learning more about finance. She's studying medicine, by the way, but she wants to learn more about it. So yes, she started reading books like Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. She's got a keen interest about money. Now she saved up a bit of money because she does tutoring. She saved up some money. Now she wants to go directly into the share market. I asked her, do you want to do it direct or indirect? She wants to start building a share portfolio. I said it's going to take time. She says, don't worry, she'll make the time. I said at least half an hour a day, 15 minutes doing some reading, learning or educating herself, and then 15 minutes doing the research. No problem. She'll find at least an hour. That's what she said to me. Okay. But the idea is for her to start building up a little portfolio for herself. And the idea is that, as she says, it'll be fun for her to learn more about it. It gives her more awareness and things like that. So young ladies, doesn't matter where you're starting. What's important is to get financially literate. If you want to excel at managing your finances, as I say, educate yourself. Education is everything. So it's important to understand the principles, and this is what we touched on before, principles of budgeting, principles of borrowing, especially when it comes to interest paid, interest received, and also investing. The whole idea, and I mentioned in the previous slide, all those questions, the reason why I put those questions up is because I want to highlight the importance of questions. Ask questions, read newspaper articles, read articles, converse with seniors, in the industry, find a mentor, ask questions. That's how you empower yourself. The idea is, you want to get to a stage where learning about the market, you want to build up maybe a balanced portfolio in equities, and all those kind of things. Later on, you must start building up a property portfolio and things like that. But ask questions and make sure you understand those answers. Get practical advice. Again, this is where a financial advisor will help you a lot. Be debt free. That's very important. I touched on right in the beginning. Okay. Perhaps one of the biggest upsides of being debt free is that you have more money to invest. Okay, so having debt keeps you from building wealth. So true financial security is achieved when your money begins to generate an income. Okay, when your money starts working for you. Okay, so if you got credit card debt, get rid of it. I find a lot of people. This is a saying I came across the other day, and I thought, wow, that is so true. People are living the champagne lifestyle on a beer income. Don't live above your means. Okay, so very important. So if you've got multiple credit cards, obviously you want to start cutting it back, and then live into a situation where you're paying things with cash. And that's again come back to the budget. Plan for those things. Okay, and then proper guidance and getting advice from a financial planner. And I've highlighted this quite a few times. This is where you want to start building up a team. That old acronym, team stands for each together, each achieves more. Getting a financial house in order is a great job, is a big job, but it's infinitely easier when you have someone in your corner helping you, giving you that guidance and things like that. So ladies, I suggest you can see this thing here, it's hyperlinked. On our website, you'll be able to find a financial advisor in your area. Go look for the lady financial advisors. Okay, the women financial advisors, obviously you understand your situation, especially when it comes to things like the income inequality and time out from the workforce and things like that. But also, you want to be able to have someone in your corner helping you, be it in a situation where there's divorce or death of a spouse. Have someone understand your situation. So ladies, that's where you'll find it. Just go follow that link, and then from there you'll see the photographs of financial advisors, the phone numbers, give them a call. Okay, so the qualities. Sorry, before I go into that, let me just quickly highlight my second little poll for you guys. You guys can just actively get involved again. Which of these polls, which of these is your best source of financial education, ladies? Okay, is it websites? Is it webinars like this? Is it reading books? Okay. So that's an evenly spread right now. I'm glad not many of you are taking the fourth option there, talking to friends and family around the braai. Yeah, it's a bit of a trick question. The majority are saying that 47% of you are saying, or a majority are saying webinars, and then websites, and then reading books. Awesome. So I hope this webinar is giving you some insight. Awesome, guys. I'm just waiting for some more polls to come in. Cool. Great. Awesome. So most of you saying webinars. Great. Thank you very much. Webinars and then websites. Websites, you can look at websites. One of my favorite websites is investopedia.com. Obviously, you can go things like the Business Day for the newspaper articles, MoneyWeb, but there are a lot of other websites. Google's your best friend as a starting point, answers a lot of your questions, and that's what I like about Google. You ask the question. There's a lot of other questions that come up from that. The qualities of women that women can leverage in their investment strategies. This comes with what I said right in the beginning. And so let me just move this out of the way. Okay, so there are some things that men might not know about women. Where's my cursor? Cool. Okay, 7 ways women are better with money than men. Women carry less debt than men. Okay, we know that credit card debt can be a drag on financial security over the long run, but it turns out that women are doing better than their male counterparts and having slightly lower balances. Okay, women also have lower personal debt balances and car loans. Okay, we know that the men love their cars, but also women manage their debt better. Women have slightly higher credit scores. Okay, so women are also more disciplined savers than men. Despite grappling with substantially lower incomes or salaries on average, women tend to have higher savings rates than men. Okay. Also, what's important I found was when I was doing my research here, women that of all income levels have higher retirement plan participation rates. So you guys are putting more money into retirement funds than men. That's great. Okay, but obviously higher savings rate don't necessarily equate to higher savings balances. We've touched on that before also. But because men earn more money than women and generally invest more aggressively, they still tend to accumulate more over the long-term wealth than their female counterparts. We know about that already. So women spend less money than men. We've seen that already with, as I say, the credit cards. The reason why they save more is that the women spend less. Okay, they're bargain hunters. They're looking for the sales and the deals, and obviously are more price conscious. And that's also, I believe, is one of the strengths for the women. If you're a bargain hunter, I think value investing as a style of investing will appeal to you, because that's what value investing is all about. It's bargain hunting. You're looking for shares trading at less than they're actually worth. And I find a lot of women are value investors. Women give more to charity than men. A study of high net worth women found that 93% gave more to charity compared to 87% of their high net men. Obviously, and another one is that they volunteer more of their time, with 56% compared to the 41% of the men. And that's what's so important. Women investment results are better than men. How does that happen? Okay, they're not necessarily more confident than men, although they should be. They achieve better returns than men. And the big difference here is that it doesn't seem the result doesn't seem as great, as very small, but over a period of time it does compound. And the big difference here is that the women are more patient investors. They take more time before making decisions, and obviously take less risks. Okay, so all these reasons obviously typically criticized by the men. As such, this approach, the criticism comes from the men. And then what's important, as I mentioned just now, they're patient. So they're less impulsive than the men. So yes, the stock market can be volatile at times, and this obviously causes a lot of people to act impulsively and lose money in the process. We've seen it over and over, but women tend to react less to market fluctuations the same way men do. Women change their asset allocation 20% less frequently than men. And obviously, what's also quite interesting, when I was doing my research, men log into the investment portfolios almost 5 times a week compared to 3 times for women. Okay, so men want to be more hands-on, and obviously this can also be one of the reasons why they're overconfident in their investment prowess, and this obviously leads to bad decision making. Men trade 45% more than women. Why is this detrimental? Because obviously overtrading would lead also to higher costs. And also remember, also lastly, is that the more you trade, the more income tax you're paying. So women are more patient, and they're more the investors compared to the traders. And obviously tax implications. Income tax is higher than capital gains tax. And then lastly there, we touched on it before, women are more likely to get professional advice. And those of you that are just starting out, again, I suggest look at getting a financial advisor. There's that old saying, why do why don't men stop for directions? Because not because they have GPS on the phones, because they feel dumb if they had to ask for directions. Women will ask for directions, okay, because they want to be smarter. Okay, so again, ask questions. That's the point I want to highlight here. So ladies, okay, what you think, say, and believe about your money makes a huge impact on your financial life. The bottom line, you have everything you need to be great with money, ladies. Okay, so qualities that women can leverage. Again, I mentioned just now, but being a bargain hunter. In their research, obviously they're more risk averse. As a value investor, you're really buying stocks that the rest of the market is ignoring. So the odds in your favor already. So research is in your favor. You're going to consistently outperform your male counterparts if you carry on doing that. Okay. And then risk aversion, we touched on it already. It's just natural for women to be more risk averse. And then obviously self-control. We've touched on all those already. So the role of investing to gain financial independence. This is very important to understand, women, ladies. Sorry, let me just grab a. So what's bottom line is money is a tool that can help you achieve your financial goals. So it can provide comfort and stability for your family and make it easier to plan for your financial future, allow you to save towards important milestones. Okay. But to achieve these things, you need to know how to make money work for you. And hence, we were talking about here. And again, I have done webinars on this before, how to achieve financial independence. As a woman, it's important, I believe, to become financially independent. Independent in the sense that you'll have, it will contribute to your health, your freedom, along with adding obviously confidence, self-worth to your personality and all those kind of things. So it's not just money, it's freedom for you to live a life on your terms. Okay, so that's the whole idea here. So the role of investing, just understand, and this is what I think a lot of people don't understand. There's a big difference between income and wealth. Okay. Most people believe that the key to wealth is a high-paying job. No, not necessarily. What's important is what you do with that income. Yeah. So again, you can be it's your spending habits. A professional athlete that earns millions can quickly go bankrupt, as opposed to a bus driver that becomes a multimillionaire. We've heard those stories already. So big difference there between income and wealth. So it all starts off, obviously, understanding your net worth, and that goes to the second point here. Your balance sheet, your assets minus liabilities, your net worth. So you want to start accumulating assets, something that puts money in your pocket. Okay, liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. So it comes back to your spending habits, as I said just now. Your balance sheet, as I mentioned, you start building that on a monthly basis. That comes from your budget. And in long-term thinking, we spoke about it also. It's important characteristic of accumulating wealth, being a long-term thinker. Achieving financial independence, regardless of your income level, comes with long-term thinking. Okay, so there's a lot of things you can take into consideration. And then obviously reaching your goal. I believe that one of your goals should be to achieve financial independence. So again, I said to refer to one of my past webinars where I say financial independence means different things to different people, but you want to be in a situation where you don't have to work for money. That's my definition of financial independence. Okay, and then obviously any surplus funds, you want to invest that. You get a windfall, whatever the case might be, get your money to work for you. And then lastly, obviously important, take in consideration taxes. And again, this is where the financial advisor comes in. There's a big difference between earned income and passive income when it comes to taxes. Okay, so excuse me, I've touched on it again quite a few times about the importance of financial advisors. Start small, get a financial advisor in the beginning, but it does help. Okay, so sorry, we just bring before we head on to the questions here. How you save can be as important as how much you save. So just be aware of that kind of stuff. So quickly before we touch on to the questions you guys might have, get financial literate, invest as early as much as you can, find tax efficient investments. And again, that's where retirement annuity, I believe, is one of the best vehicles for you. And then diversify also. Try rank cost averaging. If you're starting as low as 500 Rand a month, over the long-term rank cost averaging does help you in your favor. And then again, invest for the long term. Okay, let me just see what kind of what questions you guys have. Okay, cool. Okay, here's one question coming through here quickly. Would you suggest starting a direct share portfolio? And again, thanks for the question. That's from Sarah. It depends, it depends how much time you've got. Obviously, your knowledge and experience. If you're a complete novice, you have to build up on that. That will take some time. As I mentioned just now, an example, my daughter, at least 30 minutes. I always say a minimum 30 minutes a day. The idea is to get into an investment habit. Spend 15 minutes a day reading and educating yourself about investments, be it the stock market. But also spending 50 minutes doing research. Create a watch list of the shares that you might be interested in, and then find out more about those companies. And then that's how you start building up. And also, what's important is your starting capital. It's risk. You want to build up a diversified portfolio. So the less funds you've got, obviously you have to take into consideration the costs. At PSG, we don't have a minimum investment. You can start lose R1,000, but remember our minimum cost is R98 per trade. So your shares move up 9.8% on R1,000 to get started. I suggest minimum of R10,000. Maybe you go buying 2 different companies. You're splitting the risk now into two companies. It's a starting point. But I believe that starting a direct share portfolio, it's more fun. You also have more control, creates more awareness of what's happening in the market. You'll find that economics and politics all come together. So yeah, that's, I think, is what's important here. Can't see any other questions. It was from, cool. Okay, guys, what's important now also I want to do for you, we have it's the first time I've ever done this on a webinar, is that I have a giveaway. I have a leather bag, and you'll see a photograph of it next and the question. So before I launch the slide, I want to highlight how we're going to do this is that I'm going to ask a question, and the first correct answer will be the winner. I have to exclude all PSG staff and all PSG financial advisors. It's just to make it a fair as such. Okay, so the first correct answer I see here will come through. Okay, so here we go. Hope it works. I'll come back to that slide. There's a bag, as you guys will see. Who was the Hollywood celebrity guest speaker on the most recent Think Big series? Wow, that was fast. Johnny Theron. Yes, that's the answer. Renee Fortune. Awesome. Well, you're the first answer that came through. So you'll be our winner this month. Thanks. Okay, we got the winner. Guys, thanks a lot. So Renee, I'll be contacting you, getting your physical address so we can courier the bag to you. But guys, thanks a lot for being on this. Yes. Wawa, it was very fast. Jeez, Renee, I swear, I've never seen anybody type so fast before. Wow. Cool. So guys, let me just quickly move back to my conclusion. Obviously, we have various investments, vehicles, we call it different horses for different courses for you to help you achieve your financial goals, your financial dreams, or retirement plans. But if you haven't got one of those accounts, really look into it. But again, any questions you guys got, you're welcome to contact me. There's our Wealth Team's contact number, 0860 000 368. You can also drop us an email. But from my side, thank you very much for being on this webinar. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for participating in all the polls. And Renee, I'll get a hold of you after the webinar. Thanks a lot for being on the webinar. Bye for now. Until next month. Bye-bye.